Welcome back to 99.3 Nigeria Info. The station for talk. Number one always for talk. We kicked off the day with chit chat at 5 a.m. Dailies today came at 6 a.m. just after the first major news of the day. Tunji Andrews did his thing on Money, Business and Economy show at 6:45. Chumanoli representing Femi and the gang just brought you Sports Drive, and now Lagos. It's time for the morning crossfire. And this morning on the crossfire, we are looking at how to tackle the menace of drug trafficking and abuse in Nigeria. That is our conversation this morning on the morning crossfire. And thank you all for always tuning in. I appreciate it. We're live on Facebook right now, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. That's facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. Detail for YouTube as well. You can watch us live right now on those platforms. You can track this conversation on Twitter as well. This conversation we're about to have, you can track it on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Feel free to also join in via our WhatsApp portal. The WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. We'll be taking your thoughts on WhatsApp portal as well. Feel free to join us. It'll be a pleasure to know that you will be joining us on WhatsApp as well. Thank you, Lagos, for being a part of the Morning Crossfire. Thank you for the support all year round. We appreciate you. But let's get on with our conversation today on the Crossfire. In case you don't know, today actually is a very important day because it's a day set aside to look at the problem of drug trafficking and abuse globally. 1 in every 4 drug users in Nigeria is a woman. Data show that men abuse drugs more than women. Cannabis is the most commonly used drug. So my question this morning to you is, have you ever tried Igbo before? Have you ever smoked Igbo before? And what led you into smoking Igbo? I want to know. Because, listen, Igbo is the most smoked, is the most used drug in Nigeria. And there's no point denying it. There's no point at all denying it. Sometimes we try out these drugs out of curiosity, peer pressure, or work pressure, or domestic pressure from home. The demand. So I want to talk to Lagos. Why? Have you ever tried it before? Yeah. So I will get some thought from you if you have tried it before, if you're still using drugs. If you want to be anonymous, feel free to do that. I would love to hear, from you. Feel free to do that. But let me just talk to you for a few minutes. Then we'll bring in our guest on the show this morning. 0700 993 993 993. Let's talk Lagos. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you talking about drug abuse.
Right.
Which is also the same thing about the scammers you talk about at the chit-chat.
No, drug abuse is different.
Okay.
Have you used drugs before? Have you smoked Igbo before?
Of course.
Why? Why did you do it?
It's, peer pressure. And the real cause, the primary cause is the mindset. The mindset. And we can trace it to parental fault. Not willing to obey God's commandment. You see, when human being comes to this world as a childhood, God has said, God is the one that made us, and He has said that you have to put godliness into us. If not, the devilish way of life will come into that person. It's only 2 ways. Are you with me?
I'm with you, but why did you stop? Have you stopped?
Yes, because I now come to realize when I was now getting close to God, reading the Bible very well, God does not like this thing.
All right. Thank you. Let's speak with George, who is in Nigeria. Hi, George. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
How you,
Morning, my brother.
how you doing?
I'm doing great, so
Have you smoked Igbo before?
my brother, I love you so much. I've smoked you well.
You still do. You still smoke Igbo.
Yes.
Why do you
Different
smoke
species.
Igbo?
Hold on. There are different species. The one they take now, SK, Malikush, I don't do that. But the natural one that there's a time I plant it myself because I cultivate my weed myself because I cook it.
Okay.
I use it and then I smoke when I need to smoke to relax. Then as an artist, because I'm an artist,
Okay.
I get inspired.
That's what it does to you.
No, that's how I'm getting inspired. I feel content. I feel content. I get inspired.
Okay.
You understand me? So it is. I don't abuse it. I don't take it all the time. Occasionally, at my own will.
Yeah.
At times, I might not even take it for 2-3 years.
So what do you now take it for? I'm still trying to figure out what you take it for.
I told you I take it for when I want to relax. When I go to the beach, I relax. At home, at times when I want to cook,
right,
I put it in the food and eat.
Right. You know what, George? George, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it. We would like to bring in our guest. We tried using our official line, but we couldn't reach him. But our guest joins us right now on the show. In the person of Abbas Abdullahi. He's the Assistant Commander, Admin and Logistics at the NDLEA Lagos here. Mr. Abbas, a very lovely morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Oh, goodness. We tried reaching you via official line, but we couldn't for a reason. But let's quickly speak with you for the time being that we have you. Let's begin by wanting to know exactly, especially when it comes to drug trafficking.
Yes.
How would you describe the problem of drug trafficking in Nigeria, Mr. Bass?
Well, the problem of drug trafficking in Nigeria, so many issues must come into play.
Okay.
You see, Nigeria is a transit nation. We don't produce most of these drugs, but they came in through because we have a very large international airport, more especially Murtala Mohammed International Airport.
Okay.
So they traffic in, and then from Nigeria, we also traffic it back to consumer nations like UK, US, and other nations.
Okay.
Yes.
So how would you describe that problem? Does it mean that we don't have problem of drug trafficking? Is that what it means? Or we do have?
We do have a serious drug issues in Nigeria at an alarming rate.
At an alarming rate, you said. I didn't get that, initially. What have we done really as a country, as the NDLEA, your organization, started with that responsibility? And you have just alluded to it right now that we have it at an alarming rate. Does that mean that our effort, the NDLEA's effort in curbing it, has been futile?
No. The issue is that the funding of the agency is very poor. At our own end, NDLEA, we are trying our best.
Okay.
Like, if I may tell you the statistic of arrests we have.
Yes, please. Go on ahead. Tell us.
At Murtala Mohammed International Airport alone. We have Lagos State Command and we have Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command.
Right.
There are two different commands. Do you want me to tell you the statistic of arrests?
Yes. We're listening to you. We want to
2020. In 2015, we have seized 96.09 kg of cocaine and 5.810 of heroin, 172.37 kg of cannabis sativa, 114.265 kilogram of methamphetamine, 160 kg of ephedrine, 45.47 kg of tramadol, and making a total seizure of 594.002 kg in 2015.
Right.
2016, we have 45.415 kg of cocaine, 17.740 of heroin, 27.616 of cannabis sativa, 175 kg point 365 of methamphetamine, 102.010 kilogram of ephedrine, 333.990 of tramadol, 46.650 of diazepam, 3.715 of retinol, codeine with syrup, cough syrup with codeine, 27.32 kg, penta injection, 0.095 kilogram, making a total seizure of 779.916 kilogram of hard drugs. That is in 2016.
Let's fast forward to 2020. What is the development like in 2020?
Let me give you that of 2018, that we have the highest number of seizure and arrests.
All right.
Because 2020, this is just halfway into the year.
Yes.
So 2018, we have 24.480 kg of cocaine, 41.260 of heroin, 6.260 kg of heroin and cocaine mix.
Okay.
Together. 21.105 of cannabis sativa, 58.100 kg of methamphetamine, 196.860 of ephedrine, 5,002.9 kg of tramadol, 1.00 kg of flunitrazepam, and penachetin, 14.180 kg, making a total of 5,379.985 kilogram of hard drugs seized.
Right.
In 20.
Oh, wow.
In 2020, we have 25.05 kg of cocaine, 31.330 of cannabis sativa, 19.811 kilogram of ephedrine, and 158.600 of tramadol, 42.000 kg of diazepam, making a total of 301.282 kilogram of hard drugs seized in 2020.
From everything you've read out, Mr. Bass, one thing that jumped out of me is the volume of tramadol that you've been able to seize. It seems that it's just increasing and increasing and increasing. What could be responsible for this, in your opinion?
The reason for this is that most of the times, more especially in the northern part of the country, they use it before going to farm. So some of them, it's not even a crime to take these hard drugs. They think maybe it's just an energy booster. So they take it, and taxi drivers, Okada drivers, most of them in the morning before they start their operation, they will take in all these tramadols and other energetic substances before they start their work.
But who is responsible for educating them? Because what you have said now is almost as though they are ignorant of the fact that they are abusing these drugs. But whose responsibility is it?
The theme for this year's United Nations
International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drugs
is better knowledge for better care.
Right.
There is need to educate all these populace, but because NDLA is underfunded, we cannot carry out campaigns in so many places because of lack of fund and logistics.
So, but how are we supposed to address this funding problem that NDLEA has? Because, I mean, if we are not taking drug abuse and the problems of drug addiction very seriously, definitely the society will be sick, extremely sick. What would you suppose that? How would you suppose we address the funding gap in the NDLEA?
The agency have submitted a National Drug Control Master Plan to the federal government.
Okay.
And it has made recommendations. Among the recommendations are funding of the agency and training of staff and so many other things, of which up till now no action has been taken.
When was this submitted?
It was 2004, I think, during Adua.
2004?
Yes, since 2004. Yes.
So are you saying the agency has been starved of fund since 2004?
2000 and, no, not 2004, around 2009.
2009.
2009, yes.
Okay, so the agency has been dealing with paucity of fund since 2009.
Of course, yes.
How has that affected your operations, really, from 2009 to date?
Terribly bad. If you have had our chairman and the people that they have this NTA live, NTA.
Yeah.
He has mentioned that the monthly allocation of NDLA is only 30 million. So how do you think 30 million can cater for 774 local governments we have in the agency? We have about 47 commands, 36 state commands, and about 9 special area commands. And there are some units under the office of the chairman, chief executive.
Right.
So you see, how do you think that 30 million can cater for all our operations? You source for information, you go for surveillance, and some other logistic. For instance, if you want to go on enlightenment campaign,
right,
you need so many things to go to either schools, marketplaces, and to give lectures.
You know, the reason why I'm going in this direction is just so we have a premise for this particular next question that I want to ask, because it's important that we know the cause of a problem, then try to find a solution to it. We get reports every now and again about the issue of compromise of NDLEA, some NDLEA officials at the point of their duty, especially when they go on inspection or they apprehend a suspected drug trafficker, and then they collect some kickbacks and they allow these drug traffickers go scot-free, or they allow some cannabis farm, go undetected and just look the other way. Are we saying that this could have been as a result of paucity of fund to the agency, or that some of your men are just plain and outrightly corrupt?
To be frank, I'm telling you, there is no such case in NDLEA where I will not tell you 100%, but the issue of compromise is not there. If you look at the total statistic of our arrest and seizure, we are the highest in this country in terms of arrest, seizure, and prosecution. Better than any other security organization in this country. For instance, in Murtala Mohammed International Airport, before you are posted to MMIA, you must go under scrutiny.
Okay.
After you are posting, you will go for a polygraphic test to confirm your integrity, whether you are capable enough to work in the command. So there is no issue of compromise. That is why you see we do arrest here on almost daily basis in the airport. Either through our two cargo terminals, that is Sakol and Nako, or at the terminal of the airport, either arriving or departing.
Right.
If it is maybe TV, I will show you so many concealment that you will be surprised that if we want to compromise, it's very easy, because if you are not specially trained on this issue, you won't even know that somebody is carrying drugs. But we don't compromise. We have scanners in the airport where if you ingest, you go for scanning and it will show whether positive or not negative. And we take you out to our office, take your statements, and send you to court for prosecution.
Right. Mr. Bassett, let's take some calls in because we are quickly nearing the end of this conversation. The other part of the conversation, we will continue with our other guest. But let's take some calls in right now this morning and hear what Lagos has got to say in about 2-3 minutes before we go and before we allow you to enjoy the rest of your day. 0700 993 993 993. That is 0700 993 993. Lagos, let's talk. What do you think about drug trafficking? And our conversation thus far with our guest this morning, Assistant Commander Admin and Logistics, NDLEA, MMIA here in Lagos, Mr. Abbas Abdullahi. He joins us via the telephone this morning. Peter is joining us via the telephone. Hello, Peter. Good morning to you. Peter, good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, let's see.
Somebody stop me because I knew that it's very...
Hello, Peter. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning.
Morning. Hello.
Go on with your thought, Peter. We're listening to you.
Okay, I said I was once an Igbo smoker.
Okay.
I smoke it, not somebody stop me. I know that it's not good for me to smoke, but I stopped him myself. I said, how can I use my money and buy something? When I eat it, I hide it.
Okay.
That's what made me to stop it. But on my smoking it, he made me to be wise, rather. Instead of making me to be dull.
Have you stopped smoking it now, or you're still smoking it?
Still. Even before they do that, I stopped smoking.
Okay, yeah, stop smoking. Thank you, Peter. Well, Mr. Abbas, there's this other question that I plan to ask you because we're running out of time. I can't take any more calls, but let me just put it to you.
Okay.
At what point would you say someone is trafficking drugs? Can someone who is planting cannabis, for instance, be arrested for trafficking, like planting for maybe in a pot or something?
No, he cannot be charged for trafficking because there is no intent of taking it out of the country.
Oh.
If there is intent, maybe you have reached airport or border, that means you want to cross.
Okay.
So, as far as airport is concerned, once you enter airport, you have already make an intent to trafficking.
The reason I asked this question is I got a call this morning about a caller who said that he planted it, just for his own personal consumption. But I also do know that NDLEA can go to cannabis farm to go and arrest them. But
exactly.
But they are not trafficking. It's a farm.
They can be charged for possession. Or usage. Yes, possession. If there is for its own use, then for usage.
Can someone who is planting domestically in a pot be charged for those things as well?
Yeah, he can be charged because there is legislation in Nigeria that under no circumstances should you use cannabis until when maybe the laws have changed, because I learned that some people are trying to use it for economic purposes, but it's not allowed in this country.
Right. Mr. Abbas, we have to allow you go now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's
Thank
always
you
a
very
pleasure. Oh, well, you're being fantastic. Because we tried to reach him, but we couldn't reach him. Then he reached out to us on the show this morning. Mr. Abbas Abdullahi is the Assistant Commander, Admin and Logistics, NDLEA at the MMI, Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, here. And he joined us this morning via the telephone to talk about drug abuse and trafficking. All right, let's go to break. When we return from the break, we'll cross over to the other side of the conversation. We have just talked about drug trafficking and what the government is doing about it. You heard my guest that said that, well, they are not doing much about it because of paucity of fund to the NDLEA. So at the other side of 8 o'clock, we'll be looking at drug abuse. Yeah, we've talked about drug trafficking. So let's talk about drug abuse. That's where we started the conversation from this morning before we brought in Mr. Abbas from the NDLEA this morning. Join us again. I'm Sheriff Quadry. We're not done yet. We're back in a moment.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
It's 8 o'clock. The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
The Minister of Education, Emeka Wajiba, has denied reports that the federal government will be mandating schools to have isolation centers before reopening. He says there are just 6 measures to be observed when schools resume.
We did not say at the Senate that isolation centers will be built in every school. We did not issue such a protocol. We are working on a protocol that includes the 6 thematic materials, which is number 1, temperature checks when you come to school, wash your hands, safe distancing, wear a mask, and continuous sanitation and hygiene in all the schools.
The NCDC has recorded 594 new cases of COVID-19 across Nigeria. Lagos has the highest number of infections, followed by Delta State. So far, more than 22,000 people have now tested positive for the disease, out of which nearly 8,000 have recovered and 549 have died. And Europe has seen an increase in weekly cases of COVID-19 for the first time in months. And this is happening as restrictions are eased across the continent. The World Health Organization says there is significant resurgence of the virus in 11 places. We have more news for you on our socials. We are on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, on Instagram, Nigeria Info FM Lagos, and on YouTube at Nigeria Info 99.3. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Let's get back to the crossfire.
24 hours in a day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's a lot of time. We fill it with the best in talk. From the morning crossfire to the money, business, and economy show, down to the midday dialogue, the lunchtime magazine, hard facts, and so much more. Just for your listening pleasure. Your number one news, talk, and sports station. The station for everybody.
Everybody in Nigeria listens to Nigeria Info.
Did you know?
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 Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is a regional group of 15 countries founded in 1975 with the signing of the Treaty of Lagos. Its mission is to promote economic integration in all fields of economic activity, particularly industry, transport, telecommunications, energy, agriculture, natural resources, commerce, monetary and financial questions, and social and cultural matters. The organization operates officially in 3 co-equal languages: English, French, and Portuguese. The institutions of the Economic Community of West African States are as follows: the Commission, the Community Parliament, the Community Court of Justice, the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development. The ECOWAS Commission and the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, more often called the Fund, are its 2 main institutions designed to implement policies, pursue a number of programs, and carry out development projects in member states. Such projects include intra-community road construction and telecommunications, and agriculture, energy and water resources development. There are 15 countries that constitute ECOWAS. They are the Republic of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Gambia, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo.
Did you know?
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 Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's a beautiful Friday morning here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Yes, today is a beautiful day because, as you may know, as you may have noticed on the show, it's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Before the break, we spoke about drug trafficking. And we had the NDLEA MMIA, that's Murtala Mohammed International Airport Lagos Command Assistant Commander, Admin and Logistics, Mr. Abbas Abdullahi, on the show. And we spoke within that short period of time about, quite a few things. What constitutes drug trafficking? At what point can you be charged? And what can you be charged for if you are found in possession of a certain amount of, cannabis or other drugs? We spoke about, why tramadol is being abused the most in the northern part of the country. And we also spoke about, the lack of funding, inadequate funding, not lack really, a paucity of funding for the NDLEA and how it has affected NDLEA's operations. He joined us via telephone. Mr. Abbas Abdullahi, Assistant Commander, Admin and Logistics, NDLEA, MMIA, Lagos Command. Yeah, so we are in the second part of that conversation, going by what the day is for: drug abuse and illicit trafficking. So we have talked about illicit trafficking. It's time to focus now on drug abuse. And joining us via Skype, you can watch right now on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for Nigeria Info 99.3 on the 2 platforms, and you'll be able to watch us live. It's our audio-visual studio, and you can see how the studio looks like. I have a beautiful cap on, by the way. You can see my guest as well, who is joining via Skype this morning. So go there, Nigeria Info 99.3 on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3 on YouTube, and be a part of the show. Drop your comments there. If you've used the Igbo before or any other drug, tramadol, codeine, I'd like to know why you did it. You can remain anonymous if you want to. If you need help, you can say it out that you need help. If you're an addict, please say it out that you're an addict. Let's see if we can get you some help, okay? All right, good. So let me bring up my guest on the show this morning. He is Ediemo Bong Nelson. He's a program manager, Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, CRISA. Nelson, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Crossfire.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start with the theme for this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, which is, of course, better knowledge for better care. What does this mean to us here in Nigeria? This theme, what does it mean to us?
Yes, the theme is well chosen. It captures where we are in the world in terms of the response to drug abuse, and with a particular application to Nigeria. For a while, there has been a recognition of the fact that we do not quite understand the scope, the dimensions of the problem of drug abuse. So the need for improved understanding has been recognized, and that's why the theme for this year, spotlighting the need to better understand drug trafficking, drug use, and drug abuse, and that will result in improved response. For example, we need to increase the focus on our services for people who use drugs, balancing out the criminal justice response. And these kind of approaches, changes in approaches are informed by better understanding. So for us in Nigeria, it highlights the need for us to emphasize research, emphasize, a better understanding of the problem, the kinds of drug use, the new methods of use, the new emerging context of use, and how we can target services and policies to meet these emerging needs.
Yeah, let's now begin from the start. What constitutes drug abuse, Nelson? Because, this is a very vital question, because a lot of people don't even know. At that point, they begin to abuse some certain drugs. What constitutes drug abuse?
Okay, there are two words that are usually sometimes used interchangeably, but they mean two different things: drug use and drug abuse. Usually they are used together, but they mean different things. Drug use is any instance where you use a psychoactive drug. In this context, an illicit psychoactive drug like cannabis. You could use it recreationally, you could use it for leisure, for relaxation. That's just use. But you are abusing the substance when you are using it first of all, when you're using it for a purpose other than it was intended. So that, in that sense, it's an abuse. But in the context in which we're speaking, it has to do with a kind of use that causes, social, health, and physical problems. When you're using it in a way or in a measure that causes problems, you are beginning to abuse the substance.
Indeed. And now let's go straight into... I've had this conversation with several experts before, and one thing that they always say is this, Nelson, please help me out. Even though I've always found it very, I've always found it very rather difficult to reconcile with. They say that drug abusers are victims, and that they are not criminals or anything. Can you break this down? How are they victims?
I think that when that word is used, they're referring to the fact that the reasons why people become addicted to substances are, factors, socioeconomic factors usually. So it is socioeconomic factors, let's say dropping out of school, unemployment, loss of employment, poverty and destitution. So these are the factors that make people vulnerable to initiating drug use.
Right.
And when they start using drugs, they eventually develop a dependence on those substances. So in that sense, they are victims. That's usually the sense in which that word is used. Unlike people who deal in these substances like traffickers, which you talked about earlier.
Right.
These are people who exploit the misery of other people for gain. So it's a way of distinguishing between those who deal in substances and those who use it.
Well, Nelson, you are the programs manager for Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, CRISA, which puts you in the position where you have at your disposal some level of information as regards substance abuse, especially here in Nigeria, because you are here in Nigeria. That gives me the benefit to ask you this question: what other drugs are frequently abused in Nigeria? What apart from cannabis, of course, we know that cannabis is huge. But what other drugs are being commonly abused in Nigeria today?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, for your information, I also work as an associate researcher with the Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse.
Fantastic.
So, the report of the drug use survey that came out 2 years ago, to be precise. So I'm just going to cite that survey. Beside cannabis, opioids, that's prescription opioids, tramadol, morphine, and the rest of them is the other major substance of abuse in Nigeria. And we're told that about 4.6 million people, use this substance. Then you have cough syrup, like codeine, those containing codeine and
cough syrups, codeine containing cough syrups.
Yes, syrups. Yes, they're used by 2.4 million people. You have tranquilizers and sedatives like Valium, also being abused. And there's a growing abuse of methamphetamines and prescription stimulants. That's methamphetamines are synthetic amphetamines, and prescription stimulants. So thousands of people, about 238,000 people, abuse it. Then there's a significant problem of abuse of cocaine. We're told that 92,000 people, according to the last survey, abuse it. But these are estimates. So sometimes the actual population of people who use it may be more than what's estimated by this survey.
Yeah, it's one thing to have drug problems. It's another thing to have system to take care of victims of drug abuse. Do we have that system here, Nelson? It's a lot has been said as to our rehab centers, whether we have enough or not, whether we even have effective ones, the ones that we have, whether they are effective or not. We seem to depend on the known hospitals that we have in Yaba, in Ogun State. Those are the known ones. But should they have to get there for them to seek or to get here, to have access to help? Nelson, what have we done as a society, as a community, to help those suffering from drug abuse?
That exactly is where the problem is. We don't have services for people who use drugs. And I'll be quick to point out that part of the reason has been the understanding of drug use and related problem that we had. Up till now, the dominant perspective on drug use problems has been that, it's a criminal justice problem. So if we make more arrests, we likely will reduce drug use and related problems. But we found out that that's not so. Talking about the theme of this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse.
Right.
With better understanding, we're coming to appreciate the fact that drug use is a public health problem. Those who use substances, as opposed to those who traffic in it, those who use substances need services to enable them, reduce and eventually recover from the use of substances. But these services are not available. You talked about psychiatric hospitals. These facilities provide general mental health services. Few of them have specific services for substance users, while substance use treatment is a part of mental health, but it's a distinct component. You need a different set of training to be able to provide specific services for people who use substances, as opposed to general mental health services. And most of the psychiatric facilities we have in Nigeria do not have people with this level of, kind of competence. They are there, but far less than what is needed to respond to the problem. So in terms of formal treatment facilities, we don't have the resources needed. So, and also you have few of these facilities available, and people who use substances do not generally make themselves available for treatment.
Listen, Nelson. Listen, Nelson. One in every 4 drug users in Nigeria is a woman. We have about 4.6 million people that, according to you, used opioids such as tramadol, codeine, and morphine, and what have you. To me, this is a public health concern. Have we failed to admit that we have a public health concern when it comes to drug use and drug abuse? Is that why we don't have certain focus on taking care of our citizens who are going through this? Is this our collective failure, or just what is going on? Have we failed to reconcile with the fact that this is a public health concern?
I will have to agree with you that we have failed. Well, let me not put words in your mouth. The answer is yes. We have failed to recognize that up till now, that this is a major public health problem. And but let me give credit. We are gradually coming around to recognize it, because I've been trying other measures for the last 2 to 3 decades consistently. We're coming to the realization that it doesn't work, because you cannot address a public health problem with criminal justice measures.
Right.
You need public health responses. You need to provide treatment, you need to mount prevention interventions, and you need to, develop harm reduction services for people who use drugs. And that's what is lacking. So we have failed. That's the truth, if we are to be honest. We've failed in responding to the problem of drug use in Nigeria.
Indeed. Let's bring our third discussant into this conversation, which is, of course, the listener. Lagos would like to jump on this conversation. At 8:25, we'll go on a break. But let's bring Lagos in for us to have a complete conversation on the show this morning. If you are just joining us, you're welcome. And today is, of course, a very interesting day, in that it is a day for International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And the theme of the day is better knowledge for better care. And I have joining me via Skype this morning the Program Manager, Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, Krisa Ejona Ubong Nelson. He joins via Skype, and you can watch live on Facebook and YouTube as we speak. Joining the conversation, I want to know if you've abused drugs before, any kinds of drug. If you're still a substance abuser, feel free to join. You can remain anonymous if you like. You can also share your thoughts as well if you want to. If you need help, please say it out, and let's see how we can get you some help. Okay, the studio line is 0700 993 993 993. That is 0700 993 993 993. You can send me a WhatsApp message on 809-597-5805. Gladys from Amuwodofi joins us on the show this morning. Good morning to you, Gladys.
Good morning, Sheriff. How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Well, this is a very crucial and important topic because I have worked with, by the grace of God, drug addicts for so many years. I belong to a religious organization that do full rehabilitation, and that has been going on for more than 23 or 25 years now.
Right.
One of the major issues of solving this thing is to start enlightenment from the home. Because even before the lockdown, while trying to reach out from children, we found out that children have become involved because of this social menace of Ebola, where you see 10-year-old taking cannabis. And those are the reasons why we are having 1 million boys and all the rest of them.
Right.
They are just graduating.
Right.
And so awareness needs to be created the more. We do rehabilitation.
Oh, we lost Gladys. Oh, my goodness.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. What's your name, please?
Hi, the guest. Anonymous on the line.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome, Anonymous.
Yeah, how are you doing?
We're doing okay.
I've been listening to your program since 5 a.m. and I say you've been doing a good job.
Thank you.
So, as regards the whole drug of the thing, I used to take tramadol at some point in time, but it was because I was kind of skinny then. So, a friend prescribed the drug to me that if I make use of it, I would eat and I would add some lot of weight. So, I was kind of gullible, so I think I took the advice and I was so bloody dependent on the drug for a lot of time. It's kind of like it's an opioid. Are you with me?
Yeah, sure. It's an opioid, yeah.
It's an opioid, so the feeling was out of this world to some extent, though. So every night I started with a dose. Afterwards, my body started resisting the drug from a dose. When I thought I was getting to 2 doses, 3, I started getting my senses back that no, I don't want to go down this road ever again. So I stopped using it. So
did you speak about the problem with anyone, or you just realized on your own?
No, I realized on my own because I think I was getting to my senses little. But the thing is, the drug is quite accessible then. I don't want to mention the area, but one capsule goes for 10 naira.
Okay.
But I'm still anonymous, but now I asked the guy, it was like one dose is now 50 naira. I think due to import and export issues.
Yeah.
So lots of people are finding it hard to get, but as of then, it was extremely cheap for the use and what it could do. It was quite cheap. Though there are various brands of it out there, but the youth are getting it easily. Very easy to get, even though they say
it was quite accessible.
Tramadol and the rest, but it is very accessible because one capsule goes for just 10 naira to get.
Do you still have anyone around you that abuses these opioids?
Yes, I do. Even the person that sells them still does, but now the way things are in Nigeria, it's just like a 2 walk from my street. So
right.
I still see the pharmacy today, but I don't know how the person got the said drug into their pharmacy.
Yeah.
It's been more than 5-6 years, so the person still sells the drug still today. And again, paracetamol. People abuse paracetamol a lot.
Oh yes,
of
course.
Used to, but any little headache or fever like this, go straight down to paracetamol instantly.
Anonymous.
Because
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate it. We're just going to speak with Ayobami because Ayobami has been on the line. Then we'll go to break afterwards. Ayobami, thank you for holding the line.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'm calling from Michigan.
Okay.
I've taken...
Ayobami, you need to turn off your radio quickly.
I'm taking tramadol before.
Okay.
And and it was through the hospital. I went to the hospital because I have piles.
Okay.
And the pain was so severe, I could not sit down. So I asked them for pain reliever.
Okay.
But when it was prescribed for me, I took it home and I took it. I never knew. I didn't read it. And I took it. But I discovered that my body system changed. I was feeling very extreme heat in my body, but I slept, the pain subsides, and I took it for about 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Later on, when the thing went down and I took some other things and I was relieved of the pain, it was my son who discovered that, Daddy, you have been taking tramadol. I never knew. I didn't read that it was tramadol. So the next time when I went to the hospital, I told the doctor plainly, please do not prescribe tramadol for me. So some people may have taken tramadol unknowingly. Through hospital. Another thing is that I think around 1973 or thereabout or 74, I took it good before peer pressure inside the gate because other people were taking it. Other boys were taking it, so I tried it. That was the only time I tried it. But all in all, I think drug abuse is very bad. One of our people has run mad now, and the body is walking about because of this Igbo of a thing that they are talking about.
Right. Thank you, Ayobami, for calling. Appreciate it. Nelson, let's go to break. When we return from the break, I have a question that I want you to help provide an answer to. And I mean, picking up from where Ayobami stopped, I want you to, as a researcher, explain exactly, how people can begin to know at what point. At that point, the thing that they need to look out for when they are getting addicted to something. I mean, you heard the first caller that said that. I mean, he took 1 dose, then 2, then he felt that, oh no, this is getting too much. He realized it. There are others that won't be able to realize that they started abusing drugs. The same thing goes for as small as paracetamol is. People, any small thing, they will. So, at what point, what are the things that people need to watch out for them to realize that they've started abusing a certain drug? That's our conversation when we return. Stay here, Lagos. We will be right back after this commercial break.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Morning Crossfire 99.3 Nigeria Info. Welcome back to the program. This morning we are talking about something really important, and that is how to tackle the menace of drug trafficking and abuse in Nigeria. We've talked about drug trafficking in the first half of the show. This is the second half of the show, and we're looking at drug abuse. I have on the show via Skype this morning, Ediomo Ubong Nelson, Program Manager, Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, CRISA. He joins via Skype this morning on the show. You can watch live on Facebook and YouTube. That's right. And drop your comments there. I'd like to know what you think. If you've ever abused any drug before, I would like to know. Let's go quickly to Facebook and take some messages on Facebook. Joseph Adidaye says, good morning, Sheriff. Hi to your guest. Truly, a lot of teenagers are allowed to lodge in hotels and their drugs are abused. Okay. Emeka Onelom on Facebook says, there are actually private rehab facilities in Lagos. However, their services are quite expensive. One way I think we can solve these drug issues among the young is taking certain musicians who encourage substance use in their music. Ismail Olabayo Oladejo says, I think our NDLEA should be more proactive in their fight against illicit drugs because the way and manner people use drugs in this country is alarming. Could you believe that most of these hard drugs are hardly seen in pharmacy, but go to all these malam small shops, you will see them. And my question is, how and where are these malam getting these hard drugs? Ismail Olabayo Oladejo, thank you for your message. We have messages that have come in as well via our WhatsApp portal. So we'll just take a few, then I'll go to my guest to look at the symptoms, the signs to watch out for if you have started abusing drugs. But let's take WhatsApp message. This WhatsApp message very quickly. Sonny from Ipaja says the major reason for drug abuse in Nigeria is unemployment. Idle hand is a devil's workshop. Akeem sent that in. I'll take another one quickly from WhatsApp. I'm a bricklayer, so I take tramadol whenever I want to work because it helps me a lot, but I'm not addicted to it. Marcus from Aja sent that in. And the NDLEA guest, Mr. Abbas, spoke about that earlier when he joined, about how people who used to go to farm, Okada riders and what have you in the north actually depend on tramadol on a daily. So to them, it helps them. To a medical practitioner, it's an addiction. Jerry from Ikorodu says, I remember when I was doing my NYC in Taraba State, being the chairman in our NDLEA CDS group, we do go to primary and secondary schools and in markets and junctions to sensitize them about drug abuse. When you go there, you see that it's a serious case. NDLEA needs to do more in sensitizing communities in Nigeria. Let's take another message quickly. This one came in from Sumola Mutala from Agbado, and it says, I think there is need for constant public enlightenment, just like you are doing. Oh, yes, absolutely. There is need for constant public enlightenment, no doubt about that. Nelson, quickly, let me come to you. We have loads of messages here. Let's begin with the signs to watch out for if one is getting addicted to any drugs at all. We're not even talking about psychoactive or no, any drug at all. What are the signs for somebody, for one, to watch out for?
Okay, thank you so much. The first sign is increased use. Usually, people start using drugs for different reasons, like we've highlighted. It could be as prescription. Drugs like tramadol are usually prescribed for the treatment of pain, and that could be the gateway in which people start to use it. Some use it recreationally and all of that. But once you notice that you're beginning to use more than you used to, the quantity and frequency, it indicates that you are developing tolerance to the drug. So clearly you are beginning to abuse it. A step further, you develop physical dependence. In other words, because the substance is beginning to impair you, this is beginning to affect you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So you come to depend on it to carry through the day. So this is described as physical dependence. Clearly, you're not only abusing it, you are beginning to develop addiction to the drug. So two things to watch out for: increased use, which is an indication of tolerance, and then physical dependence on the substance. At that point, you should seek help if you are motivated, if you're interested in dealing with the problem that is developing.
Yeah. Another big factor, Nelson, we talked about care for victims of drug abuse earlier. Another big factor is the issue of stigmatization. Parents whose kids and wards, is going through this issue of drug abuse. They seem to be ashamed to speak out, to seek help for their kids. Because we know our society, we can be very, very judgmental. There's no need to hide it. We can be extremely judgmental in our society. What would you say? What would you advise for parents who are in that position do to get help for their kids and wards?
Okay, thank you so much. This is a very important question. Stigma is a universal problem, and it is recognized as a major barrier to utilization of treatment services for substance use disorders. And it's not going to disappear. So I think your question is very realistic. Parents who have children who are abusing substances need to defy stigma. That's the first way I'll put it. Understand that the health and well-being of your ward is at stake, and you need to defy stigma to get support, to get services for your child. The other thing is the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime in the past 5 years has been working to strengthen Nigeria's response to illicit drug use. And one of the things that project achieved is the development of community-based services. We have about 7 facilities that provide drop-in centers for people who use drugs. We operate one in the south. You have one in the north central. There's one in Kaduna. There's about 2 in Lagos. One in the southeast. So, if you are around where you have these services, they are not organized like the former psychiatric facilities where it's easy to dictate that you're going to seek help for some mental health problems. So it's more community friendly and it's easy to access services in this space. The other thing is that there are people providing this service on telephone these days. So if you have information on the telephone, that would be the better way to get service for your child. But even if you don't have access to these services, I would encourage you, understand that substances, we all use substances in some form.
Yeah.
But it's just the way we've categorized certain types of substances that's the problem. So it's a reality, it's a problem, and you need to get help for your child. I think that's the way I put it.
Right. Let's get back to the phone lines and take more thoughts from Lagos this morning. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that. Feel free to join the conversation on 0700 993 993 993. The question remains, if you've used drugs before, hard drugs, if you've abused opioids before, I would like to hear your story. Why? And if you've stopped, we'd like to know as well from you if you have. If you want to remain anonymous, please feel free. Remain anonymous. It's really not important in this conversation today. If you need help, very, very quickly, please. Tell us. It's very important that you do that. Very, very important. We have an anonymous calling us from Bagada. Hello, good morning to you, anonymous.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Yeah. I take drugs, just like the other man said. I was introduced to it by a friend who said it's good for sexual activity, which is tramadol. And took one, and it was very good. The feeling was above this earth. And from there, I increased it 2, 3, and before you know it, I can't sleep without taking tramadol. I have to sleep by 4 a.m. if I don't take tramadol, and I have to wake up by 5 to go to work, you know. That was when I had the feeling that, okay, I'm now addicted. I have to fight it. I stopped taking tramadol every day for about 6 days before I could start sleeping by 10 p.m., 11 p.m. You understand?
So you dealt with it on your own?
Yes. When I had the feeling that, okay, this is addiction, I dealt with it on my own.
That
was how I stopped.
That's impressive. So the person that introduced you to it, what's the condition of the person?
Well, we departed because it was a place I started my career from, so I've not seen the person for about 9-10 years now.
Okay. But you're doing well. Have you tried it afterwards? Have you tried again?
No. I don't take any form of drug again because that was a lesson. You know, what will you tell your kids? How do you intend to train your kids with addiction?
Yeah. Thank you, Anonymous. It's a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your story. Ebuka is joining us from Ladipo. Hi, Ebuka. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
I have a question. For example, a gym, person that gym, after gymming, you have body pain, and you've been prescribed that tramadol for your pain is, and you take it, your pain goes, then you continue with your gymming or with your hard work. Do you think there is a dosage to it? Maybe after some days, the pain comes back again. Do you think the person should take the tramadol or does your body fight pain on its own? There's some of these drugs that you take, like for example, bacteria, antibiotic medicine. They will tell you that there's a dosage you will take, then after some days you will leave it.
Okay.
So, but after some days, that same thing will come back because you're a human being. So, is there anything or any solution to that so that people whom they are abusing unknowingly?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Nelson, would you like to respond to that?
I didn't quite get the question. It broke up at some point.
So it was talking about if you go to the gym, when you go to the gym for the very first time, the next morning you have the entire body will be sore. You feel this pain all over your body. He's saying that.
Yeah.
So if you use such drugs like tramadol to ease the pain, will the pain come back after you stop using drugs each time you go to the gym? Will the pain stop?
Okay. What I would say is to only use it on prescription. First of all, self-medication is to be advised against. If you have pains for any reason, maybe you went for fitness training like you just described, go and get a prescription, and then get the medication and use it as prescribed.
Yeah. One thing I would like to add to that, Nelson, is for everybody who goes to the gym. Oh, I think Nelson is hanging. That's why he stopped talking. Okay. All right. I think we have Nelson back. But one thing I do know about going to the gym is that the pain doesn't last forever. Okay. It comes once you start gymming, then it goes away after some time. So you really don't have to use drugs for the pains that you feel after going to the gym after a long while, that is, or if you're even a starter, working out, then you'll feel the pain initially. Then it will go away. You don't have to use drugs to subside the pain. I mean, it's something that you can handle. It's not unbearable. It's something that everybody, especially if you know what you're working out for, everybody should be able to handle that. Let's get another call in. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning,
Good
Nigeria Info.
Good morning to you.
Yes. I want to remain anonymous.
It's okay.
Yeah. I used to be an addicted drug abuse. Yeah. I take tramadol. I take all sorts of drugs. But like this, I've stopped it. But cannabis, I'm still smoking it. But I want to stop it. But I don't know why. I don't know how. Because without this cannabis, I cannot be able to eat. Even if I didn't take it for like 2 days, I will still be like that without eating. But normally, if I take it, I will feel like being happy, talking to people around me, and eating very well, and I mind my business. So,
But if you have not smoked cannabis, you cannot eat. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
That's an addiction. Nelson, any reaction to this?
Yes, it's a case of dependence, which we've described. When you cannot function without the substance. But the good thing is that cannabis is not as
Nelson. Nelson, we're gonna have to call you back, right? The connection there isn't too nice. We'll try and call you back and get your reaction to that caller's thought. Okay, let's see if we can get another call in. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Sheriff.
Good morning.
This is James Darwin calling from Nigeria State.
Welcome.
Yeah, for tramadol, I've been seeing a lot of, even my cousins taking it, friends taking it. I was like, what is this? What's so sweet about this thing taking it? So one day like that, a friend of mine lodged in an hotel and was going out his room. I saw is it 5 milligram tablet of tramadol.
Okay.
I just decided to take this thing. Let me see how it is. Believe me, the whole of that day, I couldn't get myself. I was shivering, shaking, vomiting. I don't know. I was blaming myself. Why will I take this thing? God, please help me. I say if I want to die. I don't know. I was begging for help that day. My wife trying to give me something to take, cold water. I was not taking any other thing just to get my body back, my system back. Mr. Sheriff, it's not easy. This thing they are taking, I don't know. I just don't know.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Darwin. Anonymous is here. Hi, Anonymous. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning to you.
Please, I don't know if we do make our own research rather than sending people that they don't live in rural area, because I was brought up in Ajiguna, Papa, and I was brought up in the midst of friends that do take marijuana and the likes. So on a good day, I was pressed by peer pressure to take marijuana given to me by my friend, and I discovered that there's nothing so superb in taking these things. And the funniest part of it is that the Nigerian police, at least some police stations, they do know about these things, and they do aid these people in getting these things, because there are some people I discovered were caught in the act of smoking and selling marijuana. And the Nigerian police force, some of them, the branches, I don't want to mention, the branch and the like, they do sell this marijuana seized from these guys back to them. I'm talking about reality. It's something I've noticed. And if you can do your underground investigation, you discover that Nigerian police force, some police stations, they do these things on the ground, and they do buy marijuana from these guys, selling to the other guys. And I won't lie to you. The first time I took it, I discovered that there's nothing so superb there. To just make you depressed, to make you depressed.
Thank you.
I just pray God help us out.
Thank you, Anonymous. Let's speak with Joseph, then we'll take last word from my guest. Hi, Joseph. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning to you.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, talking about drugs, I think I did a bit of it when I was in the university. So for me, the drive was just the need to feel among. It was peer pressure, basically.
Okay.
It started from smoking cigarettes, and then, of course, we went on to marijuana and a lot of other drugs. We got addicted to it. How did I stop? I think there was a day I took so much of it, and somewhere in my mind, I was at the verge of flipping. When I say flipping, I mean I was between this realm and another realm. It was not highness, like they say. I was about to run mad. That was the way I saw it. I saw myself in a different light, but somewhere within me, I was just praying to God. I like, God, this is the last time I will do this. Just save me. Don't let me get mad.
Right. Right.
And that was what happened. After that day, I never took it again. When people say, okay, it helps them to do work, for me, it wasn't. I'm looking back now. I didn't see the addition. I didn't see the benefit of it. But we're just doing it just for the need to feel among. The need, I have a small stature, So it was a self-esteem thing, more like. Looking back, that's what I saw, because when you think, you are an hard man, more like, So pretty much that's my story.
Thank you, Joseph, for sharing your story. I mean, we need to go now. Nelson, what will be your last word as we commemorate today being the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking? What would be your last word to my listener listening to you right now?
Thank you. I would say to
I know.
To use this, if you are developing physical dependence, like to get services, because drug has the capacity to impede your ability to function optimally. So I would encourage you to seek services. Then I want to say to our government, I'm sure there are government people listening in, we need to prioritize the provision of services for people who use drugs. While we continue to target people who traffic in these substances to curtail supply, we need to reduce demand for these drugs by providing treatment and other services. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nelson, for joining us on the Crossfire. Nelson Idomo Obong is, of course, the program manager at Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse. Krista, he joins us via Skype this morning. It's 8:55, which means one thing and one thing only. Let's give out 10,000 naira.
It's entertaining, exciting, and puts money in your pockets. It's Just a Minute, a game show brought to you by 99.3 Nigeria Info. Call in to any of our shows, The Morning Crossfire, What's Up Lagos, The Sunny Side, and The Hat Facts, and answer as many questions as possible in just 60 seconds. And we'll be giving out 10,000 naira every day. Winners will be announced on Hard Facts with Sandra Ezekwesili. Just a Minute, the game show for everyone, right here on your number one station for talk, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's play, let's win, let's talk.
Hello, good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
My name is Michael.
Michael what?
Yeah. Omeni, Omeni.
Omoyi.
Yes, sir.
Michael Omoyi, okay. Let's play Just a Minute. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Michael, we are about to see if you'll be the winner of 10,000 naira.
This is Just a Minute.
Michael, your first question is this. What is the theme of this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking?
I don't know that.
Okay. Who is the acting chairman, caretaker committee of the APC?
I don't know that.
How many parties will participate in Edo governorship election?
2 parties.
Who was my guest from NDLEA this morning?
I don't know.
Who will be PDP's candidates in the coming election in Edo State?
Godwin Obaseki.
Out of every 4 drug users in Nigeria, how many are women? You said?
3.
Oh, 3. Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. Michael, you got just one question correctly. Just listen to What's Up Lagos and the rest of our shows until Hard Facts and see if you are the only person that... In the meantime, Michael, please send me your details to our WhatsApp number. Do you have the WhatsApp number?
Yeah, I have the WhatsApp number.
Okay, so send your details there, your bank account details and everything. Make sure you use this number that you're calling me with. What is the last 4 digits of this number?
9452.
9452. What is the first 4 digits?
5.
No.
0705.
0705. Then the last 4 digits, 9452.
Yes.
All right, Michael. I am wishing you best of luck.
All right.
Have a good one. Lagos, that is the show today. The Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's been an amazing week. We are back. Many thanks to my team that put this together. A very lovely show, by the way. We are back next week, Monday, with another round of interesting, engaging conversations here on Nigeria Info. We are your number 1 talk station. Keep listening to us. Don't even touch that dial. I am Sheriff Quadry. You can follow me on social, on Twitter at Sheriff Quadry, on Instagram at Sheriff Quadry, LinkedIn at Sheriff Quadry, everywhere Sheriff Quadry. Colin Stecker is next on What's Up Lagos after the news.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.